How you doing, everybody? Thanks for stopping by and joining us today for another edition of Rollin Over the Hill on the Live to Roll channel. Today's special guest is Cy Estabrook, and we'll be discussing becoming disabled later in life and still maintaining a busy and active life. And of course, whatever else pops up for discussion. So please make sure to include your questions and your views in the comments. Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Soto. I am a T12 spinal cord injury from a motorcycle racing accident back in 1974. I like to refer to when I was young and immortal. So before we get started, Bobby is still off today, so we'll be joined again by our guest host, Luis. What's going on?
Hey, Robert, Cy. Uh, Glad to be here. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Luis. I have been a spinal cord injury since 1981, an L3, L4, and I was injured in an industrial accident. I was ejected from an oil rig. So it's been quite a few years. And I think one of the coolest parts of my disability and knowing Robert is Robert and I attended the same University of Rehabilitation. We went to
That's
Rancho
right.
Los Amigos, so we had all the same doctors and a lot of the same nurses and therapists and whatnot. It was pretty cool stuff. And here today we got Cy Estabrook, good friend of ours, knowledgeable guy. And one of the things we're going to talk about with Cy today is the fact that Cy hasn't been injured as long as Robert and I have. Cy acquired his injury later in life. And that's one of the things that we want to talk about today is what is the experience of acquiring your injury, not as a young person, but, someone who's, you know, older, 50s, 60s,
Yeah,
it happened.
60s.
And it is different. It's a different experience. And we'd like to hear Cy's experience at this. Let's hear your story, Cy.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll start right there. You're right. I was born in 1956, so I'm going to be 67 years old. But my injury was in 2015, which is what? Six?
Coming up on
Is
eight
that, is that
years.
almost 7 or 8? Boy, it's starting to get up there, isn't it?
Yeah,
But
Hey,
I
Jared.
still kind of see myself as a rookie because all you guys have been in a chair like for like 100 years or so. Um, when you're at
so tell us how
when
you
you're
got
at
injured.
okay, well, it's a very boring story, but basically, I was shopping to get some goodies and alcohol and stuff for a New Year's Eve party the night the night before the New Year's Eve. So this is December 30th, right? And I was just coming out of the bonds. I was carrying the packages. I was fumbling for my keys, and before I knew it, I slipped backwards. I fell on that parking block and snapped my
Oh,
back.
man. Yikes.
And instantly, like when you hit your elbow on the corner of a rail, that stingy feeling. I had that stingy feeling from my belly button all the way down to my legs, and I couldn't move a thing. And I was kind of hoping it would just like wear off after a few minutes, but nope. So they took me to the hospital, and because I did have a heart attack in 2010, and I have a stent in my heart because of that, they said, we don't even think you're going to make it. So you might as well
Okay.
say your prayers, and you might as well say your byes to your family because we don't think you're going to be able to survive the operation. So that was a cold bucket of water, right? And they're
Mhm.
actually telling you that you're not going to make it. And I was like, oh my God. So that was pretty traumatic. So naturally, when I woke up out of it, I was going, well, either heaven looks exactly like earth or I'm still alive, right? And I gotta tell you, that really wakes you up when you have an event like that. When you're told by the doctor you're gonna die and you don't, you're like, okay, so I have a whole new lease on life. And thank goodness with the Andrew Skinner and the Triumph Foundation really made a big difference. He came to my I think 2 days after I got to Costa Colina, he dropped out. They were giving baskets at that time, and he just had the biggest smile and really encouraging. And I got involved in the groups, and boy, I got to tell you, those groups at that time when you're trying to deal with all these things is really, really important. I can't tell you how much I appreciated all the help that Triumph gave me in those first few months. Those first few months are, man, that's hard.
And yeah,
So,
thanks a lot for Triumph for being there, because I know organizations weren't like around when I was doing that, but I got involved with the Triumph Foundation 2018 or something when I got back re-involved with the
right,
community. But yeah, great foundations for
right.
all your new injury
And
needs
then
and
I
just
got
information, resources, and everything.
but then through that I got hooked up with Live to Roll, which is something that I view anytime, every chance I get, because they always have great ideas on how to do things. Like, like how do I do this or how do I do that? I mean, how do you actually do these things? And Shawn does a great job of explaining and making it fun and really really helping people to deal with some issues that are pretty difficult to understand, and also good information for the caretakers and our loved ones too, to kind of know what to do, what to say, and how to act,
Yes.
around
Yep.
other disabled
Yep.
people.
Hey, Si, what level are you?
I'm a T12 incomplete, so I'm way down there somewhere.
Yeah. And
Um,
you have some mobility, right, in your legs?
well, I can move them, like I move them around, but I cannot stand on them. I know
Okay.
Luis and I are kind of the opposite. You have you have a lot of muscle from your knee down, right,
Uh,
Luis?
between the knee and the hip.
Yeah.
Knee and the hip. That's what I meant to say.
Hip
Okay,
flexors.
so I have muscle strength from the knee to the foot, but from the knee
Mhm.
to the hip it's all jelly, so I can't
Yeah.
support my weight. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I
And
don't
so
have
with
that. I don't.
Without hip flexors and quads, it's very difficult to stand,
Yeah, yeah. I
even
have
if you have that
no. I have
motor function
zero.
from the knee to the
yeah.
Right.
foot.
Yeah, I have zero there, or very
So
very
Si,
low.
when you got injured, where were you at with your career? Because I know you have some schooling
Oh,
behind you with your masters and things like that. So where were you at in your career
I was.
in that part of
I
your life?
Yes. That's a good question. I was teaching geometry and algebra in the Pasadena Unified School District. I had quite a I had quite a career. Um, I started a little tennis program because at the time that I was teaching at Pasadena, we had busing. So we
Mhm.
had no before school programs, we had no after school programs. So what we did was we made six period a PE period for the entire school. That way they would all have at least some kind of physical education while we're waiting for the buses to come. And also it would kind of like tire the kids out, so when they're on the bus they're not quite as rambunctious. You can
Yeah,
imagine
as
junior
active.
high schoolers. Can you imagine junior
Yeah.
high schoolers being locked up in a room all day long, then jumping on a bus? Can you imagine? Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I was
All that
a big
energy,
leader
all
in
that
that.
good energy.
Yeah, so I was a big leader in that and helping teachers to come up with a activity for their sixth period to help keep the kids. Do you mind if do you mind if I tell one quick little story that's kind of cute? Okay,
Sure.
because we never had field trips, so I invented a field trip on campus, and it was called "How Tall Is a Tree?" And the kids would get into pairs, and by using the isosceles triangle, where the height and the length are the same distance, they would point their fingers up to the top of the tree, and they would move away from the tree so that the distance between them and the tree and from the ground up is the same, as a sausage triangle, and therefore they can figure
That's
out
pretty cool.
the height of a tree.
That's pretty good.
And
That's good. That's good.
and the kids were just like, "Wow, I didn't know you could do that. How does that work?" Well, it's
So
math. It's triangles, you know.
so
So
when you got injured though, so you were teaching up to that point. What was
I
the
was teaching
situation
right up to
after?
afterwards. They just said, "Well, you know,
You didn't go back
let's
in the
see.
you
I
didn't go
was
back in your chair to teach or anything?
no. I thought about it, but the school just said, you know something. You've been here a long time. You're well qualified to get all your benefits, and they even gave me a bridge. So I did a little bit of consulting with the school for about a year, just to kind of finish out that year, so I would get that extra bonus. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I
Mhm.
yeah.
didn't have to. I wasn't teaching any kids.
Okay. So was
It's pretty
that was
hard to
okay?
be in a wheelchair and being in a classroom. I don't even know how
Yeah,
you would do it. To be honest with you.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have a different viewpoint, but I know I haven't done it. So was that okay with you? That
If I had like 10 kids in a classroom, I could do it. But
yeah.
my normal classroom is 44.
Oh yeah, yeah. There are a lot of kids in the class.
That would
Yeah.
So
be that would be a that would be a that would be that would be a little that would be a little difficult.
yeah. So were you okay with that with the situation then, and not going back into the classroom? And
Well,
how would you feel about that?
I okay, just to kind of like abbreviate a little bit. I met a woman named Dee Henry through Triumph, and she ran the wheelchair tennis program in Southern California.
Hmm.
Now, I played tennis collegiately for Pepperdine on a scholarship, so I'm a pretty good tennis player, and I've been playing tennis my entire life, and never once in my entire life I never heard of wheelchair tennis. Never even heard of it. Here I've been playing tennis my whole life and nothing. So when I first heard about, oh, this is a good little story. When I first heard about wheelchair tennis, it was being demonstrated in San Diego, okay? And I
Mhm.
had just passed my driver's license in order to drive a car by myself, like
Hmm.
literally like literally the day before. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to San Diego and I'm going to go check out this wheelchair tennis clinic. And she was like, no, you're not. I'm not going to let you drive by yourself all the way down there and back. And I said, well, no, I got to do this. This is something I really want to do. He said, well, I'll tell you what, you go down there, but you got to be back before dark or the doors are going to be locked. So I sure enough, I went all the way down to San Diego. This is the first time I actually was on my own driving the car for the first time as a injured person, and I'm driving to San Diego to a wheelchair tennis clinic. Can you believe that?
A day
All
That's
after
kind of,
getting
it's
your
all
license back.
yeah. The
yep,
day after I got my
yep.
license.
And it's all coming back into play. So that kind of filled up. I bet you that filled a big void what you might have
Oh,
been feeling at the time, right?
that if it wasn't, I'm going to be honest with you. Between Triumph and you guys here and good friends and stuff, and then something that I can really invest my time in. You know, that's really what it's all about. You got to figure out got to figure out what is going to really kind of like light your candle. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
And it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be, you know, I'm not going to say this is all easy peasy stuff, but you know, you got to do something. Like I say in all my interviews, you got to get out of bed and do something. I don't care
yeah.
what it is,
Now, Si,
right?
you're also coaching tennis, right?
Yeah, I'm the adaptive tennis coach for Pasadena City College. I have approximately about 30 students that I coach
That's
on
crazy.
different levels.
Yeah,
Yeah, it started out small, but boy, I tell you, it grows pretty fast when you're at least when you know what you're doing. I guess I don't know.
yeah.
I'm pretty
And
good.
you're just not for disabled. It's for everybody, right?
Well, I gotta be honest with you. If you don't have at least some able-bodied people in your program to kind of give it that, what do you call it? Like gas in the engine.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Just to run a program strictly on disabled people would be really, really thin. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yes, I would say 80% of my students are basically able-bodied, but now I've got people that are like my newest student is deaf, so he's got his phone. What do you call it? Talk to tell or whatever it is. So now I'm teaching deaf people. I'm teaching people that have impaired sight. I am all kind I, all kinds of crazy
Okay.
things.
All right. That's good. I mean, you're making and what the point was the show was to show how okay, here you are, your life changes at age 60, somewhere around there, and
Right,
you had opportunity that kind of you found and took advantage
right.
of it. And that's what's keeping your life right now full and active and busy and happy. And I'm
Right.
sure there's some ups and downs, but I mean, you found a
It
way to fulfill
right.
your
It's
needs,
it's
right?
it's not easy, obviously, but you look at other people. Like when I was going to Casa Colina, I was going to Casa Colina for my therapy and for the class for the Triumph group. I was
Yeah.
there every single week. And you were there, and Mickey was there, and Lewis was there, and you started making friends. We had a little lunch afterwards, and then we're holding each other accountable. Like, okay, so what are you gonna do this week? What are you gonna do to get out of your, get out the front door? What are you gonna do to, make things happen, right? Because if you don't get out that front door, you're just gonna wait. You know, you're just gonna
Don't stay
atrophy at home.
home and sit on your dead, paralyzed ass.
Right,
Yeah. Don't
right,
paralyze yourself anymore.
Yeah, and
right,
don't paralyze
exactly,
yourself by analysis.
right.
Get busy.
Yeah.
Find something
So
to
you
do.
guys in that group did a great job with all the new people that would be injured every week, and you know we had very heartfelt discussions. Yeah, this is gonna be hard, but your family's gonna learn how to help you deal with this. There's gonna be a big learning curve, right? And
Yeah.
Triumph did a lot to help a lot of people adjust to that learning curve. That first year is anybody will tell you that first year of your injury is a really tough year to get through. Don't you
There's
agree?
so much
Yeah. The
going
first
on
year
with
is.
a new injury because you're trying to heal physically,
Right,
uh, emotionally, all the different steps, the processes. You're getting accustomed to a new life. Your family
right,
is, and you're trying to also find a new purpose in life. You're trying to
right,
reinvent yourself,
right.
you
So
know,
you
and
got
that's
to find
part of what Triumph
something
is.
that will click. You got to find something that will click for you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
about the only
Now,
way I can say it.
are you gonna be doing anything with your tennis at the Triumph
Yeah,
Wheelchair Sports Festival?
I'm doing the court. I'm doing court sports on. I think it's Sunday,
Okay. Okay.
it might be the afternoon of the both days. I think.
Okay, all right. So just to let everyone know about the Triumph Wheelchair Sports Festival, it's going to be this weekend, Saturday and
Right.
Sunday here in Southern California at the Santa Clarita Sports Center,
Right.
and
We'll have
it's going to be
pickleball,
from.
tennis, racquetball, and then you guys gonna do what? Some sort of I know. Shawn
There's
loves
so
to
many.
do the rugby.
Yeah, there's so many sports things going on, and I know that Shawn is going to try to do some live streaming possibly this weekend from the festival.
Right.
So we kind of got a lot to look forward to. But if you have any opportunity to be in the area and check it out, it's a must. I mean, it's not only
If
just the
Yeah.
sports, but it's networking, it's just making new friends, and it's a good time. So make sure to check that out.
for people
Go ahead,
Yeah.
outside of
Luis.
Southern California,
It's amazing.
this is a huge deal. We have people come not just from Southern California, but from all over the state: Oregon, Washington,
I,
Nevada, Arizona,
I'm
Utah.
very I'm very glad that you mentioned that. I have traveled more in since my injury I have traveled to more venues for sports than I have in my entire life before my injury.
So your
I've been
injury
to
got you
Salem.
involved in
I've been
sport.
to Salem, Oregon on a tennis. San Diego, Henderson, Dallas. They even sent me to Alabama for a week. I've traveled more on playing wheelchair tennis in the time that I've been injured than all of the traveling I've ever done for tennis before my injury.
Yeah, it's
how's that?
amazing. Well, see,
How's that for a while?
well, that, and that's the point. I just want to show that even what, no matter what age you get injured at, there's always something that you can do to keep yourself active so you
Right,
don't fall into any ruts and things like that. I mean, I'm sure, we all, no
right,
matter how active we are, you have your ups and downs, but it's just important to share that. And like, I know you do some things too you were on the city council and now you're on the
right.
county. You want to share a little bit with that?
Yeah. Um. You know, I I'm the kind of person I feel like I always want to give back, right? I don't I like to have a two-way street where I'm giving and they're giving. And my first opportunity was to serve on the Accessibility Commission for the city of Pasadena. And that was a wonderful experience. It gave me the chance to work with Andrew Skinner in developing the November Pasadena Adaptive Sports Festival through that piece. And I ended up serving on that commission for 6 years. Like, I can't believe it. And now I've graduated. Now I'm on the county commission, and I'm serving Catherine Barger, and she's gonna, don't tell Andrew yet, but she's gonna write a nice little check for him for this thing. So I kind of worked that out.
Well, that's a
So
good
he'll
deal.
he'll be
Good deal.
he'll be happy
That's
about that.
that's always a big help there. Trying to
I
help
Right.
drive
strongly
up.
Well, I've always been kind of a grassroots person anyway. So all these grassroots activities, I just flourish when I get a chance to do that. And
uh, just a moment
so,
here to toot Cy's horn a little bit. Uh, if it wasn't for Cy, we would not have our fall sports festival in Pasadena.
Right.
Cy made that
right,
happen. Cy's involved with the Veterans Administration, the tennis
right,
programs, the sports programs. I mean, Cy is a go-getter. He makes things
Yep.
happen. If he
Yep.
doesn't know how, he finds out how.
right. Yeah. Yeah, I've fumbled the ball, my fair share of times, but nobody really counts how many times you fumble the ball. They only count how many times you run over the goal line, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Exactly.
right. That's right. So, Sai, in
So
addition
you
to
you can fumble the
your
ball all you
involvement,
want, but as long as you get over the goal line once in a while, you've done a good job, right?
so Sai, in addition to all your involvement with the county and the sports and all that, how about your family life? What do you have any grandkids or anything like that?
I have I have two beautiful daughters. One is married and has a, let's see, my grandson will be 12. Actually, he's going to be 12 on and he was just 12 on Earth Day. So what was that? April 22nd, something like that.
Yeah, last week.
Um, yeah, last week. So yes, I have a lot of fun. He's a good golfer, by the way. So I'm trying to learn how to play golf. Playing golf in a wheelchair is well, I tell you, that's a challenge.
We're going to have
Um,
that
So,
this
but
weekend.
yep.
yeah, I know,
And Sai,
I know.
you have
I'm
that
looking forward to that.
you have that standing wheelchair. So,
Yeah,
with you
that's what
getting confident,
I can actually hit the ball from this thing.
yeah. So, with you getting some confidence on that, is that going to help you with playing your golf game?
Yeah, I can. Um, I don't want to overstate, but I can at least hit the ball about 100 to 120 yards fairly
Wow,
straight.
that's
That's
pretty
pretty
good,
good.
man. That's
Okay.
really
Now
good. Just to hit the ball. Just to hit the ball.
yeah. I mean, I'm not hitting it no 200. I mean, there's some guys out there that can really pound it, but I figure if I can hit it 100 yards straight, it's a win. And for
Nice.
those of you that are interested, just to give you an idea, the way we handled the green, because you can't go on a green with a wheelchair. The rule that we came up with is when you get the ball on the green, if the ball is within the length of the flag, you know the flag on the
Yeah.
green.
Yeah.
If it's within the length of the flag to the cup, then it's a one putt. If it's past that, it's a two putt. So you don't have any three putts, which is kind of
Okay.
cool because a lot of times you get a three putt. So in wheelchair golf, you either get it in the cup, a one putt, or a two putt. And that's it, max. So it makes
Yeah.
your score a little bit better. So yeah, hopefully that will stimulate somebody to think about playing golf because that makes it a lot more fun.
Cool. Cool. That sounds good. So you're staying pretty active. I mean, it seems like a lot with the sports. The sports side of it is what's kind of filling your fancy, it seems like lately.
Yeah, I'm not much of an artist. I can't draw a stick figure for the life of me.
That's
You don't want to
crazy.
see my stick figure. My stick figures will make you cry. Um,
Being a math teacher, do they look like geometry? Your stick figures?
yeah, that's exactly about it. Yeah, very
Really.
geometry. But for
Isosceles
some
triangles.
reason, my daughter got the artistic bug. She's actually going to Ohio State University for a master's program in ceramics starting in August. So
So she's the artist, huh?
yeah, she does a good job.
All right. Sai,
Um,
is
Pretty
there anything you
nice.
want to add? Because we're gonna be going into taking a commercial break in just a minute or so here. Just wait, you want to
the,
add anything?
the
When we
only
come
thing
back, we
I
can
want
talk
to
a little bit more
say
about it.
is just no matter where you find yourself, what you're doing, whatever, just keep getting out of bed. Just keep doing the things that you know that are everybody in their head knows what the right thing to do is. You gotta do a little exercise. You gotta do this. You gotta, say hi to your loved ones. You gotta spend some time. You gotta run you have to run a balanced life just like you were when you were an able-bodied person. You have to do the same thing as a disabled-bodied person. Just
Yep.
keep your life balanced, and good things will happen.
Yeah. Good deal. Good
Right?
deal.
I mean, that's basically what
Yep.
Yep.
it's about.
When
Okay.
we
Well, let's
come
hold it
back
on
from
that
our
note, and
commercial break,
we'll come
I'm
back
sorry.
to that just after that. Go ahead, Luis.
After our commercial break, I'd like to speak about the Wheelchair Sports Festival. They
Yeah.
just
Yep.
released the schedule just a few minutes ago, and I'd like to take a little time and go over it.
Definitely. Sounds good to me. Okay. So right now
Yeah.
we'll do the our sponsors commercial, and then we'll join you up on the backside of that. Our sponsors are Mobility Professionals and Urology Professionals, uh, both owned by the same umbrella, under the same umbrella. Mobility Professionals is here in Southern California in Lake Forest, and they handle all your wheelchair needs, all your supplies, medical needs, and equipment. Great company. I deal with them for a couple of wheelchairs and a couple other things here and there. You got to check with them, make sure your insurance is part of their program. But a great group of people. The owner, the people involved are participants into the disability community, and they're great people. You'll see them this weekend at the Wheelchair Sports Festival. Urology Professionals is a national company for all your urological needs. Great guys, again, under the same umbrella. So we want to thank them very much for being our sponsor, and always able to get a hold of them, talk to them. They're real approachable. Again, look for them at the sports festival this weekend. Mobility Professionals and Urology Professionals. All right, man. Let's get some more information out there because we've been waiting for this Santa Clarita Sports Festival from Triumph Foundation. So, what do you got new for us on information there, Luis?
Okay, so here we just got it was just released a few minutes ago. The schedule for Saturday, we're going to be including hockey, basketball, rugby, bocce ball, racquetball, pickleball, tennis, over the line baseball, wheelchair rodeo, fitness, golf, archery, a youth camp, hand cycling, an art workshop. For the first time ever at a Triumph Sports Festival, a drum circle, scuba diving, wheelchair skate or WCMX, yoga, sitting volleyball, and the Rollettes are going to be there. For any of you that are familiar with the Rollettes, they are a wheelchair dance team, and they
What's
are awesome.
wheelchair rodeo?
Wheelchair rodeo is essentially a obstacle course with some extra goodies added to it.
Yeah, it
Um,
was kind of called the Rohan Rodeo because he would set it
yes,
up.
Rohan Rodeo
Yeah,
after Bobby
Rohan
Rohan.
rodeo.
it was pretty cool. It was a pretty good little course.
On Sunday, we're going to have a lot of the same events, but we're going to add to that fencing and self defense as well.
Yeah, and also the youth camp, right? They have a youth camp
And
if you're under
youth camp
16.
as well.
Yeah,
In
if you have
fact,
any type of
Wow.
just yesterday, I was at Costco and I picked up 600 water balloons for the youth camp.
all right,
Oh,
cool. You want to what?
it's gonna be
Can you
hot,
explain
isn't
a
it?
little bit more? Can you explain a little bit more about the youth camp, Luis? Do you have the information that you can share with us?
Uh, as I understand it, it is going to be some coaching and sports at the youth camp and a special painting program, I believe, where they'll get to paint with the wheels of their wheelchair,
Oh,
which will
cool,
be kind of neat.
cool.
So I believe how they do that is they bag up the wheelchairs wheels with plastic bags, put paint
Mhm.
on there, and then you roll around painting with the
Onto the
wheels of
onto a canvas, like.
yes,
Oh, I
something to that
see.
effect. Also, the kids
Your
get to
tires
paint.
actually like a paintbrush.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. There you
you,
go. Good explanation.
who's the gentleman in the community that does that? Is that Vogel, Bob Vogel, or somebody? Or
Yeah.
there's someone in the wheelchair community that paints with their wheelchair. I think he lives in
Wow.
Pasadena or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's gonna be fun.
Also, we're going to have free lunch for everybody. So the food's covered. We're going to have pizza and hot dogs and you name it. Uh, you do not have to have a disability to participate. So bring your family, bring your kids, bring the
Yeah.
spouse. This is a really great program because a lot of the kids, sometimes a kid in a wheelchair gets left out from able-bodied sports and they don't get to play with their brothers and sisters, or it's the other way around and the able-bodied sibling doesn't get to play wheelchair sports. At this event, we got wheelchairs for everybody,
Yeah. Good
and
point.
everybody
Good
gets to
point.
get in a chair, mom, dad, this brother or the sister, and they get to play rugby against each other and bam and slam into each other playing wheelchair rugby. Now in the wheelchair tennis, you can't hit anybody with the racket. We don't allow that.
No,
Yeah.
it's bad for the strings.
Yes, exactly. And the overline baseball, mostly wiffle bats.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's a lot going on at the sports festival, so definitely get there, whether you're in a wheelchair or
Oh,
not. Just get in
also
there.
mentioned it's just as good for the quads as it is for the paras.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, I think there's more quad events than there are para events. I'm not sure.
Yeah, almost everything that we have going on works for both quads, paras, hemis, you name it.
Right.
Any and not just spinal cord injuries. There's going to be a lot of
Right.
people there with spinal bifida, cerebral palsy, MS, MD, all kinds of things.
Different
Ataxia.
impairments. Yeah, different
Yes,
impairments.
all amputees.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
everybody's welcome to come and participate. The more people that show up, the better it is.
yeah. So we want to thank some of the people that are viewing us today. Roy, he's was here and he left. We have Dominic out there. Thank you always for popping in.
Roy,
Is there any final parting shots there before we say goodbye there, Luis or Cy? You guys got any parting shots?
Bring a
Last
lot of
parting shot
water.
Yeah,
is I just wanted to put the word out that we miss Bobby. Can't wait to get Bobby
Oh,
back here. And for you guys that don't know, everybody loves Bobby. If you don't know
yeah,
Bobby, you're missing one of the great guys on the planet, and we miss him. So we're looking forward to him getting back as soon as he can.
yeah. Be sure to
yeah,
pick up one of those scarves that you can put in the cold water and put it around your neck. That little
yeah,
scarf thing is worth a
yeah.
million.
Try
It
to
will
stay
be
cool this
warm this
weekend.
weekend.
Yep, definitely. So before we say goodbye, I just want to remind you to check out the Live to Roll merch. There's pretty cool stuff out there, so make sure you check that out. And hopefully, Shawn will get the streaming piece down so we can do some streaming from the sports festival this weekend. Don't forget every Tuesday, Live to Roll Live with the boys Tom, Bobby, and Shawn. Wednesday is gaming with T Fizzle, Tom's show at 5 o'clock on Wednesdays, and Brianna's women's show will be next Thursday. We kind of alternate on Thursdays. They're the first and third Thursday of the month, and Rolling Over the Hill is the second and fourth. So we'll be back here in a couple weeks. Hopefully, Bobby will be able to join us. Luis, it's always been a pleasure to have you. Cy, thank you very much for joining us today. Good job. You've come a long way. Take care
I'll
and
see you this
thank you,
weekend.
everybody. All right, see
Live
ya.
to roll.